My name is Ethan Vance, and I'm just another computer science major, a junior who spends way too much time in his dorm room. For fun, I wrote a dating sim program, and then with one clumsy click, I accidentally ran it. In that exact same second, every single girl on campus got the same anonymous message on their phone. You are my destined heroine. The next day, the entire female student body went insane, swarming a stone-faced freshman I'd picked as the target. But it was my genius desk mate, the one who's practically a ghost she's so rarely in class, who slammed my own laptop down on my desk with a loud smack. On the screen was the line of code I hadn't had time to delete. Her cheeks were flushed, but her eyes were sharp and bright. Fix the bug yet, Mr. Protagonist. It was 3 a.m. The only sounds in my dorm room were the clatter of my keyboard and my roommate, Leo, mumbling in his sleep. Don't leave me, my precious GPA, don't leave me. I ignored him, my eyes glued to the dense wall of code on my screen. I called it the destined heroine system. I had seriously overestimated my mental fortitude and drastically underestimated the fallout. The next morning, I woke up with massive dark circles under my eyes, jolted awake by a wave of screams from outside my dorm. The sound rose and fell like a pot of water boiling over. My stomach dropped. This was bad. Leo poked his head down from the top bunk, his eyes still bleary with sleep. What's going on? Is the dining hall giving away free bacon or something? I didn't say anything. I just quietly climbed down from my bed, crept to the window, and carefully pulled back a corner of the curtain. One glance was all it took for every hair on my body to stand on end. Down below, it was a sea of people. No, a sea of girls. Like sharks that had smelled blood in the water, they had our all-male dorm building completely surrounded. Every single one of them was holding up a phone, their faces a mixture of excitement, shyness, and pure insanity. Caleb Hayes, I know you're in there. Don't be scared, Caleb. I'll protect you. Oh my God, so I really am your destined heroine. I'm so happy I could cry. Listening to their thirsty comments, my hand trembled, and I almost ripped the curtain off its rod. How'd they know Caleb lived in our building? Oh, right. In my stupid program, for the sake of precision targeting, I'd included his dorm building number. I am a genius. I pulled my head back, a chill running down my spine. This was 100 times more terrifying than I'd imagined. Whoa, what the hell? Leo had shuffled over, his jaw dropping when he saw the scene below. Is this all for that kid, Caleb? I gave a stiff nod. Damn, Leo marveled. Did he kick a hornet's nest? Just how many destined heroines are there? I couldn't answer him. I was the one who kicked the hornet's nest. I didn't dare leave my room. I spent the entire morning hiding out like a wanted fugitive, obsessively refreshing the campus forum. As expected, it had completely blown up. The pinned posts had titles more sensational than the last. Huge news. Mysterious X declares love for entire female student body. Protagonist revealed to be freshman heartthrob Caleb Hayes. Finding the destined heroine happening in real life. Who is Caleb's one and only? Deep dive. Is this a romantic confession or a carefully planned trolling? In the threads, countless girls were posting screenshots of the message they'd received. The timestamps were shockingly consistent. 3:15 a.m. Some were ecstatic, some were analyzing, some were forming a Caleb Hayes protection squad. Of course, there were rational people questioning it too. This is obviously a hacker, right? Sending a mass message is so messed up. For real, I feel bad for Caleb, getting dragged into this for no reason. What is campus IT even doing? They can't track this down. My heart skipped a beat when I read that last one. Track it. They shouldn't be able to, right? I was pretty sure I cover my tracks. Just as my guilt was kicking in, a photo shot to the top of the comments. In it, Caleb was cornered by a group of girls on his way to the dining hall. He was wearing a simple white t-shirt and a black backpack, his brow furrowed, his face a mask of annoyance and cold indifference. There wasn't a shred of delight on his handsome face, only a supreme level of disdain that screamed, "You mortals are so annoying." Even so, it did nothing to dampen the girl's enthusiasm. Caleb, just look at me. Caleb, I made you lunch. Caleb, we're the real soulmates. Caleb looked like a lone survivor in a zombie apocalypse, unable to move an inch. Looking at the photo of his miserable expression, I actually felt a pang of guilt. Sorry, buddy. I had no idea they'd be this intense. But the guilt lasted for all of 3 seconds before being replaced by a powerful survival instinct. I could not, under any circumstances, get exposed. If I did, Caleb's fan club would tear me to pieces. Literally. I had a major specific class in the afternoon, so I had to go out. I put on a hat and a mask, covering my face as much as possible, and snuck out of the dorm like a thief. I kept my head down the whole way, my ears tuned to the conversations around me. Did you hear? Caleb skipped all his classes today. I think he's freaked out. Serves him right for being so handsome. I'm more curious about who did it. That person's a legend, an icon for our generation. My feet falter at that last comment. An icon? Dude, don't say things like that. I can't handle that kind of pressure. I finally made it to the lecture hall and found a seat in the most remote corner, burying my head in a textbook and pretending to be invisible. The bell rang. The professor walked in and started the lecture. I let out a small sigh of relief. A classroom had to be the safest place on campus. I was, however, far too naive. Just when I thought I could survive the next 2 hours in peace, a figure silently slid into the empty seat beside me. I paid it no mind, continuing to stare at my book, until a familiar silver laptop was placed on my desk with a soft but firm smack. The sound wasn't loud, but it exploded in my ears like a thunderclap. In that instant, every drop of blood in my body turned to ice. Stiffly, inch by inch, I turned my head. Sitting next to me was my legendary genius of a deskmate, Chloe Reed. She was wearing a light blue dress today, her long hair draped over her shoulders. Her face was blank, giving her an air of cool detachment. We'd been assigned seats next to each other for nearly a year and had exchanged maybe 10 sentences in total. My impression of her was limited to genius, beautiful, and ice queen. But at this moment, all those impressions shattered into a million pieces, because displayed on that laptop screen was an interface I never wanted to see again as long as I lived. It was the source code for my destined heroine system, and the killing blow, right in the middle of the screen, a single line of commented out code was highlighted in bright red, like a dagger aimed straight at my heart. // to do. Change target from Caleb Hayes to self in the future. You never know, right? My mind went completely blank. How? How did she have my code? How did she get on my laptop? When did she find out? A million questions swirled in my head, but I couldn't get a single word out. I could only stare at her, at those clear, bright eyes. Then, I heard her speak. Her voice was quiet, cool, but tinged with a hint of amusement I couldn't quite place. Her cheeks, for some reason, were faintly pink. Fix the bug yet, Mr. Protagonist. Those last 2 words, Mr. Protagonist, were like 5 red-hot needles stabbing into my ears. My brain crashed. I stared at Chloe, my mouth hanging open, unable to make a sound. My throat felt like it was filled with cement, dry and rough. What? What did she call me? Protagonist. She knew. She knew everything. I could feel my face heating up at a visible rate, a deep blush spreading from my neck to the tips of my ears. This was worse than a public execution. This was a precision strike. It's over, my inner self wailed, already rolling around on the floor in agony. My reputation is ruined. Chloe watched my soul leaving the body expression, and the corners of her lips tilted up in a faint smile. Guess not. As she spoke, she reached out with one slender finger and tapped the trackpad on my laptop. The code on the screen began to scroll automatically. She was remotely controlling my computer. My eyes widened in shock. This went way beyond just knowing. This was like she'd broken into my house and gone through all my stuff. You. I finally found my voice, but it was shaking badly. How did you? Oh, this, Chloe explained breezily. Last week your computer got a virus, and you asked me to help you clean it up, remember? I nodded. That did happen. I downloaded a sketchy browser extension, and my laptop had immediately blue-screened. I had to practically beg her, the one person who never helped anyone with their computer problems, to take a look. She fixed it in less than 10 minutes. I just thought she was a tech wizard. I might have, installed a little program for you at the time, she continued, her tone as casual as if she were commenting on the weather. Little program, MHM, a remote monitoring backdoor. I was speechless. I felt my entire worldview collapsing. That's not how your character is supposed to work, Chloe. You're supposed to be the cool, aloof genius who's above all this mortal stuff? Since when do you dabble in hacking? And so casually, too. I was just a little curious, she said, turning her head to look at me, her beautiful eyes sparkling with academic interest. Why a guy who barely passes his major classes and spends all his time playing video games would have so many interesting scripts on his computer. Interesting scripts. I averted my gaze, my guilt intensifying. Like the one that can automatically register for classes and kick other people off the wait list. A cold sweat broke out on my back. And the one that can generate absence excuses for any occasion, complete with a perfect imitation of the advisor's signature. My legs started to feel like jelly. And of course, this one, her finger gently tapped the screen right on that damning // to-do comment. I wish the floor would open up and swallow me whole. So this is what social suicide feels like. All my secrets, all my clever little hacks have been laid bare. I was like a clown without clothes, completely exposed. So I swallowed hard, making a final, desperate attempt at denial. Last night's incident, you saw the whole thing. The whole thing, she finished for me. I gave up all resistance, slumping in my chair like a deflated balloon. Then why didn't you stop me? I asked, using my last ounce of strength. Why would I stop you? She countered, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Didn't it look interesting? I looked at her face, a perfect picture of innocence and curiosity, and nearly coughed up blood. Interesting? You call this interesting? This is a world-ending catastrophe. Besides, she paused, her gaze falling back to that commented outline, the blush on her cheeks deepening slightly. I originally thought your target wasn't going to be him. Her voice was so soft, it was almost lost in the professor's lecture. But I heard her. My heart skipped a beat. I followed her gaze to the line / to do. Change target from Caleb Hayes to self in the future. You never know, right? An absurd and daring thought popped into my head. Could she have thought that my intended target was myself? And that she, the destined heroine, had been waiting for me, the protagonist, to make my move? The moment that idea surfaced, my face flushed in even deeper shade of red. I felt like I was about to spontaneously combust. No, that's not. I stammered, trying to explain. That was an accident. I was originally going to use Caleb as a test subject. Chloe interrupted, a flicker of understanding in her eyes. I nodded furiously, like a bobblehead. Yes, that's exactly it. And then you accidentally slipped and sent out the beta version. I kept nodding, my head a blur. Yes, you get me. MHM, that's what I figured, Chloe said, looking like she believed me. I let out a long, shaky breath, feeling like I'd just been pulled back from the brink of death. But her next words shoved me right back into hell. But what do you plan to do about the consequences? She looked at me, her expression turning serious. The entire campus is talking about this, and the university's cybersecurity department has already started an investigation. I helped you clean up all the direct traces, but if they dig deep enough, they might still be able to track it back to you. My heart leaped back into my throat. Then what do I do? I looked at her helplessly. She was my only lifeline now. Well, there's a solution, Chloe said after a moment's thought. What is it? I asked eagerly. She didn't answer directly. Instead, she turned my laptop around to face me. First, you tell me, she said, pointing at the code on the screen. How do you plan on fixing this bug? I looked at the complex code, then back at her clear eyes, my mind a tangled mess. Fix the bug? My entire brain was a bug right now. Here's a hint, Chloe said slowly. The one who tied the bell must be the one to untie it. Since you started this storm, you have to be the one to calm it down. How do I do that? By creating an even bigger event to draw everyone's attention. Her eyes were shining with a light I'd never seen before, a mixture of excitement, intelligence, and just a little bit of deviousness. Looking at her, I suddenly had a feeling that I'd gotten myself involved with someone even more troublesome than the entire female student body combined. So, she looked at me, enunciating each word. Are we partners, Mr. Protagonist? Partners? I stared at Chloe, feeling like my CPU was about to overheat. This plot twist was not in my script. Shouldn't she be condemning me righteously and dragging me to the dean's office? Why was she offering a partnership? Yes, partners. Chloe nodded, her expression serious. This wasn't a joke. You provide the creative ideas and the core code. I'll handle the technical implementation and the cleanup. Together, we can turn this fiasco into a masterpiece. A masterpiece? I still didn't get it. You live for the drama, don't you? She countered. Aren't you just a little bit curious to see what would happen if we let this thing keep going? I had to admit, she had me there. Deep down, I was a chaos agent. As terrified as I had been, the thought of personally directing a campus-wide spectacle made my very DNA start to tingle. This sounded a lot more exciting than just watching Caleb suffer. Okay, but what are we going to do? I asked, lowering my voice and leaning in closer. Step 1, misdirection. Chloe held up a finger. Right now, all eyes are on Caleb. That's not good for you, or for him. We need to create a new bombshell to muddy the waters. How? Remember that script you wrote to automatically register for classes? My heart jumped. I nodded. We can upgrade it. Chloe's eyes were shining. We'll build a campus event prediction system. We'll claim that the whole Destined Heroine incident was just a stress test for this new system. I was dumbfounded. A prediction system? Exactly. Chloe's speech quickened as she got into her element. We can use data from the campus network, analyze foot traffic, spending habits, library records, everything to predict the next big hotspots. Like which dining hall line is going to be the longest, which library book is about to get popular, or even which campus couple is about to break up. I listened completely stunned. This sounded incredible. This wasn't just a prank anymore. This was big data and artificial intelligence. Is that even possible? I asked, uncertain. Theoretically, yes. Chloe gave a confident smile. I happened to accidentally get admin privileges to the campus network data port a few days ago. As long as your algorithm is good enough, we can make it look convincing. I stared at her like she was an alien. Accidentally got admin privileges? Lady, how many other secret skills do you have? And then I pressed, now completely hooked on her plan. Then we use a newly registered anonymous account to release this prediction system on the campus forum. Chloe continued. We'll start by posting a few trivial but 100% accurate small predictions to build credibility. Something like, today at 4 p.m., the spicy chicken sandwiches at Cafe 3 will sell out early. How do you know they'll sell out? I just checked the dining hall's back-end inventory data. They have 30% less chicken today than usual. Once our predictions come true a few times in a row, everyone will believe the system is real. A sly smile played on Chloe's lips. That's when we release an official statement. What kind of statement? We'll say the Destined Heroine incident was a bug that occurred while the system was testing an emotional relationship model, which caused the test message to be sent out by mistake. We'll offer our sincerest apologies for the trouble caused to Caleb Hayes and announce that the system is going offline for maintenance and upgrades. As I listened to her whole plan, I sucked in a sharp breath. It was flawless, using a bigger, more impressive lie to cover up the first one. It would not only get me off the hook completely, but would also show off some serious technical skills, changing the whole narrative from a malicious prank to a badass tech demo. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, Chloe looked at me, a hint of anticipation in her eyes. What do you think? Is it feasible? Feasible? It's more than feasible. I was so excited I almost slapped the desk. It's a work of genius. Then the core algorithm model. Leave it to me. I puffed out my chest. 3 days. No, 2. I guarantee I'll have a working prototype for you. In that moment, my awe for Chloe had completely transformed into worship. This was a true tech master. Compared to her, I was just a script kiddie who liked to mess around. We weren't even in the same league. Good. Chloe nodded, satisfied. Pleasure doing business with you. She pushed my laptop back toward me. I glanced at the screen, at that highlighted // to-do comment, and my face started burning all over again. I fumbled to close the window. Don't close it. Chloe placed her hand over mine to stop me. Her hand was cool and soft, and the touch sent a jolt of electricity through me. I froze. This comment, she said softly, looking at the screen. I think it's pretty well written. Very. Forward-thinking. With that, she pulled her hand back, turned her head, and picked up her book again as if nothing had happened. She left me there, my heart racing, my mind a chaotic mess. I looked at the elegant profile of her face, at the tips of her ears that were still faintly pink, and that ridiculous thought surfaced again. What? What did she mean by that? Could it be? I didn't dare think about it any further. I shook my head hard, forcing myself to focus on the code. Get a grip, Ethan. This is not the time for that. The most important thing right now is to build this prediction system and save your own skin. I took a deep breath and placed my hands back on the keyboard. In that moment, I was filled with more motivation than I'd ever had in my life. Not for any grand reason, but for Chloe's simple pleasure doing business with you, and for her calling my stupid comment. Forward thinking. For the next 2 days, I worked harder than I ever did studying for my finals. Outside of eating and sleeping, every waking moment was spent buried in code. Chloe was right. Deep down, I'm a programmer who loves a good challenge. When a project this interesting and this demanding was put in front of me, every cell in my body screamed to conquer it. Chloe and I had a clear division of labor. I was responsible for building the core algorithm and logical framework of the prediction system, while she handled all the data interfaces, server deployment, and the front-end UI. We were like two top-tier spies working in perfect sync, fighting a silent war for a common goal. For convenience, we set up our command center in the library's digital media section. It was the first time I realized what it was like to study with a genius. She was completely silent, yet her presence was everywhere. Whenever I got stuck on an algorithmic problem for more than 10 minutes, it was like she could read my mind. A small note would slide across the table. On it would be just 1 or 2 crucial lines of code or a mathematical formula. But every single time, it was exactly what I needed to have a breakthrough. How do you know I'm stuck on this part? I couldn't help but ask. Your typing frequency slows down, you sigh 3 times more often than usual, and you start scratching your head, she said without looking up. Based on my data model, there's a 95% probability that you've entered a state of frustration. Right. I forgot I was sitting next to a walking, talking human data analysis machine. With her assistance, my progress was phenomenal. 2 nights later, the first version of the prediction system was born. It's done, I said excitedly to Chloe. Let me see. She leaned in closer, and the faint scent of her shampoo drifted over. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly forced my attention back to the screen. The UI is a little ugly, was her first comment. My face flushed. Classic programmer aesthetic, you know? But the core logic is clean, and the algorithm is very creative, she continued, giving me an approving look. Especially this popularity weight decay model. How did you come up with that? Oh, that? I got the idea from the threat level system in a video game. I mumbled, scratching my head sheepishly, applying a gaming concept to data analysis. Interesting. She nodded. Nice work. Her praise made me happier than getting a full scholarship. So, are we ready to start? I asked, rubbing my hands together in anticipation. We are. Chloe pulled out her own laptop. I've already registered an anonymous forum account. Username the Oracle. The server is hosted overseas, so no one can trace it back. Watching her seamless operation, I was once again struck by how out of my league she was. What's the first prediction? I asked. That one. Chloe pulled up the dining hall's back-end data. Cafe 3, spicy chicken sandwiches for PM, sold out early. Let's do it. Under the account, the Oracle, we published our first post. The Oracle system's first prediction. Today at 4 p.m. sharp, the spicy chicken sandwich counter at Cafe 3 will sell out. Don't believe it? Just watch. When the post went up, nobody paid much attention at first. Just a few scattered replies. What is this? Some kind of LARPing. The Oracle? More like the moron. Screenshotting this. Coming back at 4 to laugh at you. I was getting nervous. They don't believe us. Patience, Chloe said calmly. Let the pot simmer. We waited until 3:55 p.m. I refreshed the post and saw that the replies had started to pick up. Holy crap, guys, I just came from Cafe 3, and the line for the chicken sandwiches is insane. For real? I'm heading over now to check it out. 5 minutes left. Time to witness a miracle. I stared intently at the clock in the bottom corner of my screen, 16:00. The second it hit the hour, I refreshed the page. Instantly, a flood of new replies poured in. No way. They're gone. I watched the person in front of me get the very last one. This is insane. Is the Opia God, the Oracle, Please accept my eternal admiration. At everyone, come pay respect to the new campus deity. The post was instantly boosted to the forum's homepage. Its title changed to a blazing red. Holy Post Prophet has arrived. The whole campus is watching. I looked at all the replies filled with exclamation points. So excited, I almost jumped out of my chair. It worked. We did it. Calm down. Chloe was happy too, but much more composed. This is just the first step. Now for the second prediction. What is it? This. She clicked on another data interface. This one showing the university library's checkout system. Prediction, by tomorrow night, all copies of the sci-fi series The Three-Body Problem will be checked out from the library. Why the three-body problem? Because I just used the Oracle account to anonymously share a rave review of the series in a dozen major freshman group chats, she explained. And I wrote a script to make sure the likes and shares on that review broke 1,000 within half an hour. My jaw dropped. You can do that? This isn't prediction anymore. This is creating the future. Sure enough, the next morning, posts started popping up on the forum. Is the three-body problem really that good? Why is it suddenly blowing up? Don't even talk to me about it. I was a minute too late to the library. The last copy was checked out right in front of me. The Oracle was right again. This is terrifying. How does this system even work? 2 consecutive, precise predictions had completely deified the Oracle on campus. Everyone was starting to believe that an all-knowing prediction system truly existed. The time is right, Chloe said to me. Time to post a statement. I asked, my nerves kicking in. MHM. Together, word by word, we drafted the official statement. Then, using the Oracle account, we posted it. An official statement regarding the Destined Heroine incident to all students. We are the development team for the Oracle system. First, we would like to express our deepest apologies for the Destined Heroine incident that occurred a few days ago. The event was caused by an unforeseen bug during the testing of our system's campus emotional relationship network model, which resulted in a test message being mistakenly sent to all female students. We offer our sincerest apologies to Caleb Hayes, who was affected by this, and to all other students who were impacted. The Oracle is an experimental project based on campus big data, aimed at exploring the boundaries of predictive analytics. The first 2 public predictions were tests conducted to verify the system's accuracy. The system has currently revealed some technical and ethical issues. Effective immediately, we will be taking the system offline for indefinite maintenance and will engage in deep reflection. Once again, we apologize to everyone. The Oracle team. The moment the statement was posted, the forum exploded again. Holy crap. So that's what happened. I knew it couldn't be that romantic. It was just a bug. A bug, sure, but this Oracle team is insanely smart. Big data prediction? That sounds so advanced. Poor Caleb, getting used as a test subject. I kneel before the Oracle team. Are you guys hiring? I can sweep the floors. The tide of public opinion had completely turned. No one was hung up on the absurd confession anymore. Everyone's attention was now captivated by this incredible-sounding Oracle system. Me, Ethan Vance, the original culprit, had been perfectly erased from the narrative. And Caleb had gone from the protagonist loved by thousands to a sympathetic victim of a bug. The crisis, it seemed, was over. I let out a long sigh of relief, feeling completely drained. It's over, I said to Chloe. No. Chloe shook her head, her expression not as relaxed as mine. What's wrong? She pointed at the screen. I saw that under a statement post, there was a new, highly upvoted reply. The username was familiar. It was the unlucky bastard himself, Caleb Hayes. His reply was simple, just one sentence. The Oracle team, huh? I know who you are. Tonight, 9 p.m., 3rd floor corner of the library. Let's talk. Seeing Caleb's reply, the heart I had just managed to calm down shot right back into my throat. How could he know? I asked Chloe, terrified. Our methods were, in theory, flawless. The server was overseas, the account was anonymous. Every action routed through multiple proxies. Even the university's own cybersecurity professors couldn't have tracked us down this quickly. How could a freshman like Caleb have figured it out? Don't panic. Chloe was much calmer than I was. She studied the reply carefully, her brow furrowed. He probably didn't find out through technical means. Then how? He's bluffing, Chloe said, an answer I hadn't expected. Bluffing? MHM. She nodded. Think about it. Who benefits the most from all this? I paused, not understanding. From the outcome, the Oracle team used a much cooler cover story to hide a clumsy prank, showed off their skills, and won the admiration of the whole campus, Chloe analyzed. And you, Ethan, you're a CS major. You're known for pulling little stunts. You have the motive and the technical ability. And most importantly, she paused and glanced at me. Most importantly, everyone in our department knows that the two of us have been holed up in the library for the past few days, huddled over our laptops working on something. It hit me. Caleb probably had zero actual evidence. He just made a bold guess based on the breadcrumbs. That reply was a gamble. He was betting that we'd feel guilty and show up. So, do we go or not? I had no idea what to do. If we went, we were admitting it. If we didn't, it would look like we had something to hide. We go, Chloe said decisively. We have to go. We can't let him think we're scared. And besides, this whole thing does need a proper conclusion. I took a deep breath and nodded. Okay, I'll go. At 9 o'clock that night, the library was nearly empty. Chloe and I walked side by side down the quiet corridor, my heart pounding. I didn't feel like I was in a negotiation. I felt like I was turning myself in. We reached the third-floor corner. A slender figure was leaning against the window, gazing out at the night. It was Caleb. He heard our footsteps and turned around. In the dim light, his face was half in shadow, half in moonlight, making his features seem even sharper. His eyes were cold, like two daggers aimed right at me. His stare made my skin crawl, and I instinctively ducked a little behind Chloe. You are the Oracle? Caleb spoke, his voice even colder than his eyes. His gaze was locked on me. Clearly, he thought I was the ringleader. Yes and no, I managed, trying to sound as cool as Chloe. But Caleb didn't play by the rules. Cut the crap, he snapped. I just want to know one thing. Did you start all this? His presence was so intimidating that I immediately lost my nerve. We did. Chloe stepped forward, shielding me, and met Caleb's gaze without flinching. It was his idea, and he wrote the code, but I was part of it too. Caleb's eyes darted between Chloe and me, a flicker of surprise in them. He clearly hadn't expected the legendary campus genius, Chloe Reed, to be involved in something so childish. Why? He asked, addressing both of us this time. For fun, I blurted out before Chloe could speak, deciding to just own it. We were already caught. Might as well go down with some dignity. For fun. Caleb scoffed. You think this is fun? Do you have any idea what my last 2 days have been like? He pointed at himself. I can't go to the dining hall. I can't go to class. I have to take back roads just to get to my dorm. My phone has been blown up, and my DMs are flooded. All because you two wanted to have some fun? His voice was filled with suppressed rage. His words left me speechless, and the guilt came rushing back. I'm sorry, I said, looking down, my apology genuine. I didn't think it through. I apologize. Does an apology fix it? Caleb's tone was still icy. Then what do you want? Chloe spoke up, her voice calm and steady. What's done is done. We're doing our best to fix it. If you have a problem with our solution, you can say so. If you want compensation, you can name a price. But if you just want to vent, I'm afraid we don't have time for that. Her words were like a bucket of cold water, extinguishing Caleb's anger. He paused, stunned. He looked at Chloe, his expression complicated. After a long moment, he finally spoke again, his tone a bit softer. I don't want compensation, he said. I just want my life to go back to normal. That's what we're trying to do, Chloe replied. It's not enough. Caleb shook his head. As long as the Oracle exists, as long as people believe in that system, I'll always be the bug victim. People will still point at me when I walk down the street. Chloe and I fell silent. He was right. So what do you want us to do? I asked. Caleb looked at me and said something I never would have expected. I want to join you. What? I thought I'd misheard him. I said, I want to join your Oracle team, Caleb repeated, his gaze unwavering. You said it's an experimental project based on big data, right? It sounds interesting. Instead of letting you control my destiny from behind the scenes, I'd rather get in the game myself and become one of you. I exchanged a look with Chloe, and I could see the same shock in her eyes that I felt in mine. This kid's brain was wired differently. Shouldn't he hate our guts and be plotting revenge? Why was he asking to join the team? What's in it for you? Chloe asked calmly. What's in it for me? Caleb smiled. The first time I'd seen him do it, even if it was just a twitch of his lips. The benefit is that I get to decide what the next prediction will be and where it will happen. I can redirect everyone's attention from me to wherever I want it to go. His eyes held a glimmer of something that didn't match his cool exterior. Was that excitement? I suddenly got it. This kid, deep down, might be an agent of chaos too. He was just better at hiding it than I was. So, Caleb looked at us. It's better to have one more ally than one more enemy, right? I glanced at Chloe, asking for her opinion with my eyes. She thought for a moment, then nodded. Fine, she said. Welcome to the Oracle team. And just like that, in what was supposed to be my judgment day, our little renegade team gained a third member. And it was our original victim. This world was getting weirder by the minute. Looking at my two new teammates, so different in style, yet with the same mischievous gleam in their eyes, I had a strange feeling. This whole mess, which I had started with one stupid click, was probably just getting started. Caleb's arrival brought a strange new dynamic to the Oracle team. Ethan Vance was the creative and technical core responsible for the wild ideas and the code to make them happen. Chloe was the commander-in-chief and technical support, tasked with bringing my ideas to life and cleaning up any messes. And Caleb, he appointed himself the brand ambassador and PR director. In his words, since my identity is now deeply tied to the Oracle brand, we need to maximize its value. I was floored. This kid wasn't just a closeted troll. He was a budding business mogul. Our first official team meeting was held in a secluded corner of the library. Our top priority is to make a third prediction, Caleb said, getting straight to the point. And this one has to be bigger, more sensational than the last two. Why? I asked. Didn't we already successfully divert everyone's attention? It's not enough, Caleb said, shaking his head. Right now, people see the Oracle as a cool tech team. We need to elevate the Oracle to the status of an omnipotent god. Only a god inspires awe, not just curiosity. I looked at him, feeling like he had the charisma of a cult leader. What do you have in mind? Chloe asked. I'm going to predict. A confession, Caleb said, a knowing smirk on his face. A confession? That's right. Caleb nodded. I'm going to predict that tomorrow at noon, in the Central Plaza, someone is going to make a huge public confession of love to someone else. Who's confessing to who? I asked, intrigued. Brad Thompson, Caleb said, his eyes landing on Chloe, is going to confess to you. Puff! The sip of water I had just taken went flying out of my mouth. I coughed violently. Brad Thompson? That guy from the CS department who was painfully average but acted like God's gift to women? He'd won a couple of minor coding competitions and strutted around like he owned the place. Most importantly, he'd been chasing Chloe since freshman year, a persistent, annoying fly that everyone knew about. And, of course, Chloe had shot him down every single time. Brad confessing to Chloe? You didn't need a prediction for that. It was an inevitability. The problem was, how do we get him to do it tomorrow, at noon, in the Central Plaza, and make it a huge spectacle? I asked the crucial question. That just requires a little push. Caleb's smile turned devious. He took out his phone and opened a chat window from an anonymous burner account. I did some research on Brad. He told us he's extremely arrogant, but also deeply insecure. The one thing he can't stand is being looked down on, especially by the person he likes. With that, he used the burner account to send Brad a message. You're Brad? Heard you've been chasing Chloe Reed for 3 years and gotten nowhere. Pathetic. After sending it, he immediately deleted the account. I was dumbfounded. That's it. Not enough, Caleb said, shaking his head. That's step one. Piss him off. Next, we get him a stage. He switched to the Oracle forum account. Chloe, mind if I borrow your name for a second? Chloe nodded. Then, Caleb, as the Oracle, posted the third prediction. The Oracle third prediction. System analysis indicates a 97% emotional compatibility match between Chloe Reed, computer science, and Caleb Hayes, finance. There's an extremely high probability they will become the next campus power couple. The moment the post went live, the forum exploded. WTF? WTF? Is this an official ship? The Genius and the Heartthrob? What kind of god-tier pairing is this? I'm so on board. No, my world is crumbling. Caleb is mine. Don't scream. Chloe is my goddess too. Reading the prediction, I felt a strange pang of sourness. Even though I knew it was fake, Part of the plan, seeing Chloe's name linked with another guy still bugged me. I snuck a glance at Chloe. She was perfectly calm, as if it had nothing to do with her. What's this move? I asked Caleb. This is step 2. Give him a rival, Caleb explained. A rival he can't possibly compete with. When an arrogant man is provoked by being called pathetic and then confronted with a powerful rival, what does he do? He'll do anything to prove himself. I was starting to get it. Exactly. Caleb snapped his fingers. He'll use the most extreme, most attention-grabbing method to prove to everyone, especially to Chloe, that he's the alpha. All we have to do is tell everyone in advance that a show is about to start. He switched back to the Oracle account and, under the Power Couple thread, posted a new reply. Supplementary prediction. Tomorrow at high noon, in the Central Plaza, a major event will occur. It concerns a grand romance and a man's dignity. After doing all that, Caleb put his phone away and smiled with satisfaction. All right, the stage is set. The actor is in place. All we have to do now is wait for the show. I looked at Caleb and felt a shiver run down my spine. This guy was a devil. He played with people's minds like a fiddle. Poor Brad was walking step by step into the elaborate trap we'd set for him. I could already picture his face, red with rage, when he saw those posts. He would definitely see it as a direct challenge from Caleb and an insult from Chloe. Given his personality, he would be in the Central Plaza tomorrow at noon, 100%. And he would do it in a way he thought was the most romantic and stunning. Aren't you afraid this will get out of hand? I couldn't help but ask. If it gets out of hand, it's more interesting, isn't it? Caleb countered. I had nothing to say to that. I was starting to realize that all three of us were a little bit crazy, and I was the one who opened Pandora's box. Now, the demons were out. The next day, I was on edge all morning. Part of me was excited for the show, but another part was worried things would spiral out of control. At 11:30 a.m., the three of us, like spies at a clandestine meeting, slipped into a coffee shop near the Central Plaza. We found a table by the window with a clear view of everything outside. The plaza was already filling up with people, most of them drawn by the Oracle's prophecy. They were all whispering and speculating about what major event was about to happen. He's here, Caleb said suddenly. I followed his gaze. There was Brad, dressed in a white suit he clearly thought was sharp, his hair slicked back with too much gel, holding a massive bouquet of red roses. Behind him, a few of his buddies were holding a giant banner. It read, Chloe Reed, I love you. Give me a chance to protect you for a lifetime. I almost sprayed my coffee everywhere. It was so cheesy, so incredibly cheesy. What decade was this guy living in? He actually came. I marveled. And he brought a bigger circus than I expected. Predictable, Caleb said, sipping his coffee, completely unfazed. I glanced at Chloe. She was staring out the window, her face unreadable, but her fingers were tapping lightly on the table, a habit she had when she was thinking. The minutes ticked by. Soon it was noon. Brad checked his watch and took a deep breath, as if making a life-altering decision. He had his friends unfurl the banner, and he walked to the center of the plaza with his roses. He picked up a megaphone and began his heartfelt confession. Chloe, I know you're here. I know you can hear me. His voice echoed across the plaza, drawing everyone's attention. From the first moment I saw you, I was completely captivated. For 3 years, you're the only one who has been in my heart. I know I have my flaws. I know I haven't been good enough. But please believe me, my love for you is real. I don't care about some stupid prediction from the Oracle, and I don't care about some guy named Caleb. In my heart, you are my one and only destined heroine. He was so emotional, he even managed to squeeze out a few tears. The crowd of onlookers started to cheer. Say yes. Say yes. I got goosebumps just listening to it. Dude, your script is so cringy. I looked at Chloe to see her reaction. She was still expressionless, but the tapping of her fingers had stopped. He's coming over, she said. Sure enough, after finishing his speech, Brad started scanning the crowd. Soon, his eyes locked onto our location. He saw Chloe, and he saw the person sitting across from her. Caleb. The moment he saw Caleb, his eyes turned bloodshot. He saw Caleb as the male lead in the power couple prediction. All his anger, jealousy, and frustration erupted at once. He charged toward us with his flowers like an enraged bull. Chloe, he yelled, tell me, is it because of him? Is it because of his pretty boy? Everyone in the coffee shop turned to stare at our table. I felt like a background character in a stage play. Oh crap, oh crap, a fight's gonna break out, I whispered nervously to Chloe. But Chloe was completely calm. She stood up. Everyone thought she was going to accept or reject Brad's confession. She did neither. She simply picked up the cup of iced coffee on the table, the one she hadn't taken a single sip of. Then, as everyone watched in stunned silence, she walked up to Brad. Chloe, Brad looked at her, his face full of hope. The next second, Chloe raised her hand. Splash! An entire cup of iced coffee, ice cubes and all, was dumped straight over Brad's head. His white suit was instantly stained with huge brown splotches. A few ice cubes slid pathetically down his greasy hair. The world went silent. Everyone was speechless. Brad was frozen, his expression shifting from hope to shock to humiliation, and finally, to pure rage. You. First, Chloe finally spoke, her voice quiet but carrying clearly to every corner of the cafe. My name is Chloe Reed. Please call me that, or classmate. Second, I don't know you. Please stop harassing me in the future. Third, she glanced at the roses in his hand and the banner behind him, her eyes filled with disgust. Your taste is making me physically ill. With that, she turned around and said to Caleb and me, let's go. She grabbed my wrist and started walking. Caleb stood up and followed. The three of us made our exit, leaving the entire cafe staring in stunned silence. Brad was left standing alone, looking like a drowned rat, forced to endure the pitying and mocking stares of everyone around him. I could feel Chloe's hand gripping my wrist tightly. Her hand was still cool, but my heart was racing. I glanced back at the pathetic figure in the plaza. As much as I disliked Brad, I almost felt sorry for him. From start to finish, he was just a puppet in our little show. And we were the three shameless puppet masters pulling the strings from behind the curtain. Brad's confession became the biggest joke on campus for that entire week. His social life was over. Rumor has it that the coffee-stained white suit hung on his dorm balcony for 3 days because no one had the heart to take it down. Meanwhile, Chloe became a legend. A video titled "Iced Coffee Cures Delusional Men" went viral on the forum. She transformed from a distant genius into a cool and badass queen. Countless girls started idolizing her, all of them commenting, taking notes. The Oracle's third prediction had, once again, come true in the most unexpected way. Its divine status was now unshakable. After the dust settled, our trio met again in the library. What's next? I asked. After this incident, I had started to see Chloe and Caleb as the leaders. We're done, Chloe said simply. Done? Caleb and I were both surprised. Yes, Chloe nodded. We've hyped up the Oracle enough. If we keep going, we'll cross a line. The university administration is already paying attention. They can't trace us, but it's still a risk. She looked at Caleb. You got what you wanted too. No one cares if you're the protagonist of Destined Heroine anymore. Your life should go back to normal. Caleb was quiet for a moment, then nodded. You're right. It's time to end it. Even though I was a little sad to see it go, I knew Chloe was right. It was smart to quit while we were ahead. So, we just let the Oracle account go dormant forever. I was reluctant to let it go. It was my creation, after all. MHM, Chloe said. Let it become a legend. We decided to post one final message as a farewell from the Oracle. The Oracle's final chapter. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. The end of prediction is creation. May you all become the creators of your own destiny. Farewell. After posting that cryptic philosophical message, we deleted the account and all related data. The Oracle, the mysterious identity that had caused so many waves on campus, vanished from the internet. It had appeared suddenly and departed just as gracefully, leaving behind nothing but a campus legend. Life seemed to return to normal. I was still just a regular CS major. Caleb went back to being the cool campus heartthrob, just with fewer crazy girls following him around. It was as if nothing had ever happened. The only thing that had changed was the relationship between me and Chloe. We were no longer the desk mates who exchanged 10 sentences a semester. We started going to the library together, discussing code, and occasionally we'd even grab dinner. Most of the time, it was still me talking and her listening. But it felt comfortable. I knew something was different. One evening, we were walking back from the library, side by side on a quiet campus path. The moonlight stretched our shadows long behind us. Hey, I said suddenly, why did you help me back then? It was the question I'd been wanting to ask all along. With her skills and personality, she could have easily just stayed away from a troublemaker like me. Chloe stopped and turned to look at me. The glow from a nearby lamp softened her features, making her eyes look gentle. Because she paused, as if choosing her words carefully. I thought you were interesting. Interesting? MHM. She nodded. Your scripts, even though they were all for messing around, the ideas behind them were interesting. I'd never met anyone like you. So you hacked my laptop just to look at my interesting code? I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yes, she admitted without a hint of shame. So when you saw that // to-do comment, what did you think? My treacherous mouth asked the one question that made my stomach clench. Chloe's face turned slightly pink in the moonlight. She didn't answer right away. I thought, she said softly, that bug might not be so bad after all. My heart skipped a beat. I stared at her eyes reflecting the starlight, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. What? What did she mean by that? Was she hinting at something? My brain felt like it was overloading again. So, I stammered, at a complete loss for words. Chloe saw my pathetic state and suddenly smiled. It was a beautiful smile, like the first thaw of spring. Ethan, she said my name. Yeah. Your destined heroine system. Do you still have the source code? Yeah. I answered automatically. Well, she looked at me, her eyes sparkling. When are you going to get around to executing that // to do? I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. I was completely paralyzed. What did she just say? Execute the // to do? What was the // to do again? // to do. Change target from Caleb Hayes to self in the future. You never know, right? So she wanted me to change the program's target to myself, and then my brain raced. If the target protagonist is me, then the recipient would be every girl on campus? No, wait. The program's logic was to send a message from the protagonist's perspective to all the girls. If I'm the protagonist, then the heroine receiving the message. My head snapped up, and I looked at Chloe. She was smiling at me, the blush on her cheeks even more lovely in the moonlight. I got it. I got all of it. She wasn't telling me to do another mass spam. She was telling me that she was willing to be my program's one and only heroine. A wave of pure joy washed over me. I felt like I was floating on a cloud. You mean? I was too excited to form a coherent sentence. You're willing to? I didn't say anything, Chloe interrupted, but she couldn't hide the smile playing on her lips. I just think that when a program has a to-do, it should be completed. That's just basic programmer ethics. I looked at her pretending to be coy, and couldn't help but laugh. So this is what a genius is like when she's flirting. Okay, I nodded firmly, feeling a surge of energy. Mission accepted. That night, I went back to my dorm and kicked all my roommates out. I opened the laptop that had been witness to this entire crazy story. I found a long archived source code for the destined heroine system. I took a deep breath and deleted the // to do comment. Then, in the target field, I solemnly typed my own name, Ethan Vance. Next, I changed the program's distribution logic. No more mass messaging. This would be a point-to-point delivery. The recipient, one person only, Chloe Reed. Finally, I changed the message itself. It was no longer the cringy "you are my destined heroine." Instead, it was something I had been wanting to say to her for a long time. Chloe Reed, my system has detected an unfixable bug in my world. Its name is falling for you. Would you be willing to help me debug it? I checked the code over and over again. Once I was sure it was perfect, I hit run. The black terminal window flashed once more. .23:59:58 system initializing. 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds target locked. Ethan Vance. .23:59:59 recipient locked. Chloe Reed. .00:00:00 message distribution successful. .00:00:01 system task complete. Distribution successful. My heart was pounding again, but this time it wasn't from fear. It was from hope. I picked up my phone and opened my chat with Chloe. I waited nervously. 1 minute, 2 minutes. Suddenly, my phone screen lit up. A new message from her. No text, just a screenshot. It was a screenshot of the message I had just sent her. She had used a red marker to circle the words, "falling for you." And next to it, she had written 2 words. Note it. A second later, another message came through. Bug fix protocol as follows. 1. Starting tomorrow, I'm in charge of your breakfast. 2. You're no longer allowed to call me Chloe Reed or classmate. Call me Chloe. 3. A typing bubble appeared. I stared at the screen, my heart about to beat out of my chest. What was number 3? After what felt like an eternity, her message finally arrived. 3. As payment for my debugging services, the title Mr. Protagonist is now my exclusive property. Any objections? I stared at my phone and broke into a goofy grin. Objections? I was ecstatic. I typed back as fast as I could. No objections. Absolutely no objections. Whatever you say, boss. Good boy. So, boss, when does the debugging process begin? I'll be waiting downstairs from your dorm tomorrow morning at 7. If you're late, the bug will get worse. I won't be late. Promise. I put my phone down and jumped out of my chair, pacing around my room. Me, Ethan Vance, a nerdy guy who lived for a little chaos. Because of one accidental bug, I had not only directed a campus-wide drama, but I had also landed the most amazing girlfriend in the world. It felt like my own life had encountered a wonderful bug. And this was one bug I hope would never, ever be fixed. End.